Welcome back to our just kind of figuring it out as we go along kind of road trip. We are now in Italy. We crossed over from Switzerland this morning, came over the border, and we're doing something today that I find really quite exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. It's washing, laundry day. We get asked about this quite a lot, how we wash our clothes on the road, and we do wash a few things by hand here and there now and again, but mainly what we do is we go to a laundrette every couple of weeks, so that's what we're doing. I literally thought that the woman that was just in here before was washing and drying some tennis balls in with her laundry, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is so weird. Turns out I think you're actually supposed to put them in the dryer, like they're provided here to do that. Is that a thing? Like, I've never known of that before, and I've been to quite a few different laundrettes around the world. This laundrette, by the way, is absolutely incredible. AD is having such a fun time playing with the toys, and there's just so much space in here. Like, I really appreciate the folding tables. Like, you don't normally have that in places, so it means that we can just do everything in here and just take stuff back to the van folded, and we're not all on top of each other trying to fold stuff while AD's unfolding stuff, and it's all a bit chaotic. So it makes for a very pleasant laundry day, I think. Backup's here now to help me fold. Are you having fun?
Absolutely love this. It's my favourite part of the month.
Jay was of course being sarcastic then, but as I said earlier, I genuinely enjoy doing this. It's just something that I find like really like therapeutic and meditative, is that a word? Meditative about it. And I just find it really, really calming. It's just something that I've always enjoyed. And weird. Let me know in the comments if there's anyone else that likes doing laundry. AD and James have just popped out to the supermarket to get some shopping in, because from here we're kind of just outside Bergamo, so north east of Milan, and from here we are heading up into the Dolomites. I'm sure there are going to be shops and stuff, obviously, but it's not going to be any kind of big cities or anything, and that's the route that we are going to take through Italy into Slovenia. It's the reason that we chose to come this way rather than going through Germany and Austria, so that we could come through the Dolomites and explore this area of Italy. So yeah, I'm really excited to see the landscape. Hopefully there's not going to be any snow, because the season is kind of like May to September as I understand it, but there are quite a few restrictions around the roads on those times because it's really busy. Like, you can't drive to certain attractions and stuff between 9 and 5 in your own vehicle, like crazy stuff like that. However, all those restrictions are lifted at the minute because it is not peak season. So yeah, hopefully the roads are still clear. I'm kind of hoping that because the weather's been a bit warmer later this year, that is going to be the case, but we're just going to have to see. Jay, I don't know if we've made a mistake.
What?
In that we should be going south, not east. It's freezing.
Listen, I'd happily be going to Morocco right now. Weather's much better there.
It is so cold, guys. We've just come out for a walk and Jay's had to go back already to the van and get extra layers for us because we're absolutely freezing.
This isn't my type of weather, not gonna lie.
This place that we are staying at tonight is by Lake di Idro, and it's actually really close to Lake Garda, which is obviously one of the big famous lakes here in northern Italy. The reason that we've opted to come here and not there is purely because this place was free to park overnight. So there's 3 motorhome bays where you can park here. Luckily there was one free when we got here. Everywhere else that I found to park up up along the side of Lake Garda where we would have been driving was paid parking, and it was like 20 euros a night as well. It wasn't cheap, and that was without services. So although we do pay for paid parking spaces sometimes, we'd rather not if we don't have to. I think we get to experience the landscape that is this part of northern Italy from here anyway, and yeah, we can save some of our money for when we get into the Dolomites, where I'm sure it is like no doubt that we are going to have to pay for parking spaces up there. Alright, I'm going to go for another swim. I think this is going to be extra cold because not only is the water cold, I've already felt it, but the sun is already setting, so yeah, probably not the best time of day to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Well, that was good. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you too?
Yeah.
Just got back in and got my warm pyjamas on and put the heating on, and James has just been out and got some takeaway pizzas. These are our first ones in Italy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the first of many.
I
can't wait to get stuck in. I'm absolutely starving now. Well, this morning we have had to basically completely abandon our plans for Italy and turn away from driving the Great Dolomites Road because the weather is not looking good at all. It's really gone downhill, and in fact in the areas that we were heading for there's actually severe weather warnings for wind, and some of these roads, like, they're quite treacherous to drive on a good day. One of them in particular has 33 switchbacks, so that just gives you an idea of kind of the terrain that we would be driving on, and yeah, that is not something that we want to be driving on in severe wind. Also, just because of the amount of rain, there's next to no visibility, so not only does that make driving those kind of roads obviously really quite dangerous, there's also no point, because the whole point of the route is to see the views and the Dolomites and the mountains and yeah, all that kind of good stuff, which if we're not going to be able to see like a few meters in front of the van, like, we could just be driving on a motorway. Like, there's just no point to it. So yeah, I say it was a difficult decision, but there wasn't really another decision to make. So yeah, we've headed back south again, which means the last couple of days have kind of been a bit pointless in that we started going in one direction and now we're going in the other direction. But yeah, we have rejoined kind of like the main road over the top of Verona way. So we've just gone past Verona and just found a quiet little park up with services that's kind of in like, I don't know, it's in a bit of like a bodega town. There's loads and loads of vineyards around here. So hopefully a couple of the bodegas are going to be open for us to head to, and that'll hopefully cheer us up a little bit. It has actually stopped raining now, but it just looks so grey and miserable. Like, this is like the weather that we absolutely hate, and it makes van life really quite difficult, because being stuck inside a van just as a single person is horrible enough, but when there's two of you and a toddler as well, you just need outside space and as much of it as possible. So yeah, the next few days could be quite interesting. I think the plan from here is just to kind of get across to Slovenia maybe as quickly as possible, but I've looked at the weather all the way across the route and it just doesn't look any better. So yeah, maybe we will hang out for here for a couple of days and just try and make the best of it, or I don't know, we'll see. The other reason that we opted for this park up is because there is also electricity here. That's not actually free, that's €1 for 12 hours, but that's obviously really reasonable. So yeah, we've got all plugged in and got our batteries on charge. They were really quite low because we've just not had hardly any sun at all over the last couple of days, and we've not driven that far either, so we've not been able to charge the battery through that means either. Anyway, James and AD have gone off in search of some wine and some olive oil at these bodegas, so we'll see what they come back with. Hopefully that cheers us up. Did you manage to find any?
Any what?
Wine and olive oil. I thought that's what you went for.
Yeah, we did. The shop is open.
Is it?
Yeah, but
nice.
we should go back at 3 o'clock, because then we can taste the wines and the olive oils. There's another person coming at that stage who does the tastings. And the place it looks cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe it's not going to be a totally horrible day then. Oh, this weather is something else. Oh my gosh, this is horrible.
Well, I feel like I was given some dud information earlier this afternoon, because we just went and visited what I thought was a bodega, and actually it's an olive oil producer, and that's pretty much all that they do. They do have 4 or 5 bottles of wine that they produce, but they weren't available for the tasting. So we ended up tasting some olive oils, which were absolutely delicious, and we did end up getting a couple of bottles, but we didn't manage to taste any of the wines. We did actually buy a bottle of wine because they recommended one out of the 4 or 5 that they do produce. But we've come away having spent 30 quid with 2 bottles of olive oil and no wine in our bellies. Well, our series of unfortunate luck continues. We had the dreaded knock last night, quite late, and actually it wasn't as bad as it could have been, because it was someone that was warning us that the olive trees that are surrounding this park up are actually being cut this morning, and there are signs up saying that you have to vacate between 7 and 11 o'clock. So it was too late to move last night. We were plugged into electricity and we paid for it all. So it is now 6 o'clock and I've got to move the van and do all the van chores and find somewhere else to park for a few hours as well. The other 2 are still in bed in the back, and I'm just going to drive around slowly doing the stuff that I need to do. Hopefully nothing falls out. Fortunately, that wasn't as bad as it could have been. At least it has stopped raining from yesterday, and the temperature's actually pretty warm. And the parking space that we've found is literally just across the road from the actual camping area. So we're going to wait and see what time these people actually turn up to cut the trees, because no one else has moved. So I've got a little feeling that they might be in the know and that this is all a bit of a hoax. It wasn't a hoax, and they did come and do the works, and while a couple of campers didn't move, they did get blathered in grass and tree cuttings for their insolence.
Well, we hid out here for the last couple of days and we've got this morning, and thankfully, hopefully, the worst of the weather is over with, although there are still quite a lot of really dark clouds on the horizon, so we shall see. Unfortunately, we've got to leave this place today, and it's such a shame because it's just surrounded by loads and loads of vineyards. The scenery just looks absolutely lovely. It's so green, but this is a maximum 48-hour park up, so yeah, we need to move on and find another place, but it's definitely done the job staying here. We've been able to make sure our batteries are fully charged before moving on, and despite the rain, we've actually had an alright couple of days in the end, just hanging out and relaxing really.
The next morning we decided to head to a place that needs no introduction, which is just as well, because we were so overwhelmed and taken aback by just how beautiful and magical it is that we neglected filming anything to camera and just spent our time soaking it in and living in the moment. We are, of course, in Venice, and we've got to be completely honest, we didn't expect to like Venice. We were expecting it to be really touristy, completely Disneyfied, and just completely lacking in any of the romance that's associated with it. But it's beautiful, it's charming, it's quaint, it's a place that evokes emotions, it's packed with history, and we loved it. We spent the day walking around as much of the city as we could cover and trying lots of delicious local cicchetti.
We were just walking down this bit of one of the canals and we saw some people sat on the side eating some pizzas and they looked absolutely amazing. And then we saw the pizza shop just across the way, so we've been in and got one and it looks so good. We have treated ourselves to a maxi one, I think it's called, so this was €13. It felt like too good not to get the biggest one there, so that's what we've done. Who knows if we'll be able to eat it all.
We did. Now, we know loads of you will be saying, why on earth did you not go on a gondola? Well, if you watch us regularly, you'll know that Sarah suffers badly from travel sickness, and a gondola trip may well have turned the day against us. But here's the news, you don't have to go on the water to appreciate it. We can now tell you that from experience.
Well, we didn't really have too much of a plan for Venice and we didn't really know what to expect, to be honest. We thought it was just going to be actually probably quite expensive and touristy and not really our thing. And obviously on the back of us not having a great time in Italy so far, really, anyway, with the weather and just like having to change plans and everything. It was just kind of something that we thought we'd do on our way out, but we have absolutely loved it here. It's been so much fun. We've just been wandering around the city, like who knows how many steps we've done. It's been such a fun day. We've eaten loads of good stuff and yeah, just taking in the sights and just wandered and wandered. Adi has absolutely loved going up and down all the bridges. It's literally been like her favourite thing to do. It's been so much fun. Like we've just absolutely loved exploring here, and we actually feel a little bit sad now that we are leaving Italy because we feel like we've just got into a bit of a vibe with it, and we definitely haven't eaten enough Italian food either, but we've got to move on. Our next country that we're going to be hitting is Slovenia, so we will catch you there. If you have enjoyed this video, please make sure that you give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and ding the little alarm bell thing so that you get notified each time we post a new video. See you next time.